Hello, and what is up, guys? Welcome back to another video from Screencasters. And today, I'm finally going to be doing an update to my Chaos Dragons on the channel. Now, before I get started, one thing I want to point out is I have done some duels with this deck. If you guys want to see Chaos Dragons in action, there will be a link to the duels I've done, either in the description or on the top right side of your screen. So please check those duels out. You guys can finally see the deck in action, and it's really fun. Now, some questions you guys might have is, hey, can this deck reliably, take on the meta? Can it beat Spirals or any other deck out right now that's, tier 1 or, something like that? And I can safely say, no, it can't consistently do that. That's not to say you can't sneak out some wins, which can happen definitely pretty often. But it's not really something you should be relying on. It's mainly a deck to play for locals and for fun. So with that little disclaimer out of the way, and with me shilling out my duels video because it hasn't been getting too many views, let's get started with the deck profile. So for starters, you play one Red MD, you had to play Red MD. This card is good. I really wish this card would have went to 2 instead of BLS, because BLS is pretty good too. But Red MD is like the card of the deck. It special summons your dragons, and not only your Synchro dragons, so they go in the main monster zone, but as well as the Blue Eyes engine, which we'll get into in a minute. Next up, I'm playing 2 Light Pulsar. Light Pulsar is really good. You can send either a light or dark from your hand to the graveyard. Well, one of each. You can send 1 light and 1 dark from your hand to the graveyard, and special summon this guy from the graveyard. Next up, I'm playing 3 Destiny Hero Malicious. He's pretty much an honorary Cyber Dragon. He's very, very good. As long as you don't draw multiples, am I right? But Mali's pretty great. If he's in your graveyard, you can banish him, special summon another copy from the deck, which really helps for Synchro climbing. It really helps getting into Beatrice with your Chaos Sorcerer and stuff like that. He's just really good, and a lore target. I was playing 2 BLS in the duel video, but I opted for 1 Chaos Sorcerer and 1 BLS instead of 2, ideally because Chaos Sorcerer is a level 6 monster, so you can use him to overlay with your Mallees or with your Light Pulsar to help go into Beatrice and dump, Snow. You can dump Glow Up Bulb, and do a lot of cool things with that, and you can special summon them with the normal chaos requirement by banishing a light and dark from the graveyard, and then you could use the effect to banish 1 monster on the field, which is pretty damn good, especially when you're planning on using them as overlay materials, so you can get some easy spot removal. And BLS, I mean, what can I say about BLS? He's pretty good. He's sacky as always. If you resolve your Light Pulsar, you can resolve your BLS like right after, which is pretty great. And the fact that he's at 2, he does brick a bit at 2, which is why I kind of changed it for 2 Chaos Sorcerer. I mean, it's kind of the same thing, but Chaos Sorcerer is a level 6. You can make Beatrice with it, and Synchro with him and stuff like that. But BLS is still a very good card, but I'm not sure if I'll play multiples of him just yet. And then we're playing 1 Eclipse Wyvern. Eclipse Wyvern is actually really good. You can banish your Darkness Metal when it gets sent to the graveyard. It's a mandatory effect, so if you discard him off something with your Light Pulsar, or with anything like that, with your Jet Synchron and stuff, you'll get his effect, as long as you have a target in the deck. Now for the small Blue Eyes engine, I'm playing 2 Spirit of Whites. I have to proxy one of them, which kind of sucks because I only have 1 on me, but this is pretty good, and we're also playing 2 Whitestone of Legends. Now, the theory behind this engine is mainly because of the Whitestone, because you can bring it back with your Darkness Metal if it's in the graveyard, right? So if you have a Michael on the field and you already banished something, you could use Red MD to special summon a Whitestone of Legend from your graveyard to the field, because it is a dragon, to help Synchro climb into Crystal Wing. And let's not forget its other grave effect, where you banish it from the graveyard to target one of your Blue Eyes monsters from the graveyard and add it back to your hand. And the reason you do that is if you have if you milled one of your Dragon Spirit of Whites, you can banish the Whitestone of Legend to add one of them back to your hand, and it makes easy discard fodder for your Light Pulsar, as well as something like that, which is really good. It's a nice utility play, and if you resolve your lawn mowing, it's something good you want to have in the graveyard. So that's my theory behind it, and you could also bring back the Dragon Spirit of White with your Red Eyes Darkness Metal to get another spell or trap removal. But yeah, it's a really good card. The reason I play the Spirit of White instead of the other Blue Eyes monsters, because they do get kind of bricky, and they don't really have a good feel for the deck, but I feel like this Blue Eyes engine is pretty good, and it helps work with how the deck is supposed to play, which is with using your graveyard as resources, and then spamming a bunch of dragons, a lot of synchros, a lot of links and stuff like that, and swing for game. For your milling engine, we play 3 Raiden, kind of self-explanatory. He's like the best Lightsworn. He's a warrior, so you can search him with Rhoda. He's just really good in general. We're also doing 2 Lumina, the Lightsworn Summoner, and then 1 Twilight Lumina. Problem is, she's really bricky, especially going first. But she's pretty good when you resolve her in any turn other than turn 1. We're also playing 1 Minerva, the baby Minerva. The reason you play her because it's a free mill, easy discard fodder. We got 1 Wolf. I don't play 3 Wolves. He's pretty good to help go into XYZ Minerva, but in this build it isn't really focused on the Lightsworns or the level 4s. Because you have other engines to use, because this deck does have a higher ceiling than normal Lightsworn, so I don't think you need Triple Wolf. And we play 1 Raikou for spot removal. Really good card. You can banish a Lightsworn from your graveyard, banish 1 card to the field that doesn't target and helps trigger some really cool things. Helps make Twilight Lumina live. And the whole reason you play this engine is because of Snow. I was trying 3 of her, but I did cut 1 for space. All you need is 1 Snow. As long as that card's in your graveyard, you can do so many cool and loopy things with it. It's just insane. And last level 4 is for the utility cards and for the Lightsworns and for the milling. We got 2 Goblinberg, really good card. You can summon them off Invoker if you already have your Thousand Blades. Are you tutored out in the graveyard? You can normal summon him if you don't do that. Special summon Raiden, mill 2 cards, make Minerva, mill even more. Really good. It's a pretty decent first turn play in my opinion. Next up we have the Plant Engine. We have 3 Lone Fire Blossom, really good. You want to open this as much as you can. You do have a tendency to brick in this deck. It's not as consistent as I would like it to be, but I tried to make it as consistent as I can with the cards I have available and that are out in the TCG. But this is how you get into your Predator plants, and that's how you get the Brilliant Fusion, and that's how you get 2 zones, as well as a decent opening with your Minerva XYZ. So for that, we played 2 Orphis Scorpio and the 2 Darlington Cobra. It's alright. The reason I played 2 is because not only do you have a potential to draw it, you also have the potential of milling it. So as long as you have at least 1 in your deck, you can resolve it. And you only really need to resolve it once to search out your Brilliant Fusion and get your extra normal summon, which is pretty damn good. And last of the plans are playing 1 Bulb. Bulb's actually really good if you already went through your Lone Fire combo. That means any extra Lone Fire you draw into, if you didn't go through all 3 of them, or if you milled out your Predator plants, you can use it to go into Bulb, which is a free level 1 tuner. Last of the main deck monsters, because this is a 60 card build, we have 1 Jet Synchron. He's really good in the graveyard. Basically another Glow Bulb. Discard Minerva. Gets effect off for the free mill, really good. Helps get dead cards from your hand to the graveyard. We got 1 Electromagnetic Turtle, helps keep you from OTKs, really good. We have a mini Clown Blade engine, which is Trick Clown and Thousand Blades. You summon the Thousand Blades off Invoker, send them to the graveyard to make Missis with Invoker, and then trigger off Trick Clown somehow, and then it will come back and get a free level 4 or 2 monsters for Link material. We got 1 Keeper of the Shrine. Now this is a tech card. It's not too bad if you draw into him, but the combo for this is you open Dragon Shrine, right? And then you use it, send White Dragon Spirit of White to the graveyard. It counts as a normal monster then, so that you send another dragon from your deck to the graveyard. So ideally you would send Keeper of the Shrine, right? And the reason that play is actually really good is because not only does he have a graveyard effect where if your dragons get destroyed, you can special summon them, but he also has the effect of being a dark monster. So you banish that Spirit of White, you banish him, and that's a light and a dark. So it lets you summon any of your Chaos monsters for free just off 1 card. It's a pretty good combo, and I really do like it. And last of the main deck, we got 1 Tourmaline. I can't afford Garnet, and it really doesn't matter. You just need 1 Gem Knight, and I just choose Tourmaline because it looks nice. So that's it for the main deck monsters. Onto the spells. Kind of self-explanatory, but you do need 3 Brilliant Fusion. It's really good. Searchable. You only really need to resolve it once, but you do want to see it as early as possible. We have 3 Charge of the Light Brigade. I'm so happy this card is at 3. It is one of the best cards in the deck. Resolve it, mill 3 cards, add a Lightsworn for more milling. Really good. Opening a Charge of Light Brigade with a Goblinberg is so freaking amazing. We also got 3 Solar Recharge. Now, if you know anything about me and my channel, anything about my old Chaos Dragon deck profiles, you know I absolutely cannot stand this card. I hate Solar Recharge with a passion because it's such a dead draw, and it's something you never really want to top deck in a bad situation. But when you resolve it, it's so godlike. It's so great. So it's a love-hate relationship, but I think 3 because you really want to see your spells in this deck. Because your monsters by themselves are usually bricks unless you open your Predator Plant engine. So if you open up as many spells as you can, you'll be making a lot of decent plays. Then we got 2 Allure Darkness and 2 Pod Desires for the draws, in addition to Solar Recharge, so you have a lot of combos to go off of. You do need some cards to use for those combos, right? So I think this is kind of self-explanatory. I am going to proxy one last card for this video, in addition to the 1 White Stone, the 1 Dragon Spirit of White, and that is Lawn Mowing Next Door. It's a really good card. I don't recommend Left Arm Offerings, because if you do resolve Lawn Mowing, it doesn't really matter if you don't have a hand to play from, because you can play from your graveyard, but that 1 Snow Book of Moon effect isn't going to do too much if you have no plays to go after it. So I think 1 Lawn Mowing is pretty good, because it is 1 at the ban list. Hopefully it'll come to more. But I still recommend it in the 60 card build. It's pretty much your edge against other decks. For the power 1-ofs, we got 1 reinforcement of the army to search out Goblinburg for that rank 4 play with Minerva as well as Raiden. We have 1 for 1 for Jet Synchron and Global. Really good, and you can discard Malady and get a level 7 Synchro for free. We got 1 Foolish Burial, send any card from your deck to graveyard, not need to explain that. 1 Dragon Shrine for the aforementioned combo with Dragon Spirit of White and Keeper of the Shrine. What you do is send Dragon Spirit of White first, then send Keeper of the Shrine, and then that's a light monster and a dark monster, so it sets up your chaos plays, so it's not really bad to draw into. And some mill target, why not? 1 Soul Charge, because if you open this you win, and 1 Reasoning as the last card of the 60 card Chaos Dragon deck profile before the extra deck. It's a free summon, really. Because you're playing so many different levels in this deck, you can sack your opponent really easy. If you're going first, they see you have a 60 card deck, you activate Reasoning, they're going to call level 1, and more than likely you're not going to get that Glow Up Bulb, so you might get a Raiden, you might get a Light Pulsar Dragon, hell, you might even get a Red Ice Darkness Metal Dragon. So it's a lot of fun you can have with this card. Starting out with the extra deck, we got 1 Baguska. He's a pretty decent opening play. If you don't open any of your plants, you go Goblinburg into Raiden, mill 2 cards, go into Baguska. He's a skill drain for the opponent. Really, really good. And on your turn, you can put him in attack mode and then continue your plays like that. And your opponent really wouldn't have done anything because skill drain and lose 1 turn are pretty big cards. So yeah, you'll be in a very good position if you can't open up the Predaplant combo. Next up, we have 1 Minerva. It's a really good card. One of the best XYZs in the game, in my opinion. It's really good if you open a Predaplant engine, so nothing to really explain there. You mill cards, draw cards with your Lightsworns. If it gets destroyed, you mill cards, pop cards. It's so good. For the rank 3s, I got 1 Invoker. Really good card. Special summons your 1000 Blades from the deck. You make this with your Predaplants, and then you use Invoker along with your 1000 Blades to go into Mrs. Radiant, which gives you 2 extra deck zones, and it has 1000 Blades in the graveyard. Then we have 1 Breaksword. Breaksword is pretty much there if you don't have a way to get to Invoker, or if you already used your Invoker and you have no more targets, or if he's already in the graveyard, you make Breaksword, pop a card, it's really great. And last XYZs, we got 1 Beatrice. I love Beatrice, this card's so good. She's the reason you play Mally. You banish Mally, summon another one from your deck. Summon Light Pulsar, go into Beatrice, and it sets up a lot of good plays. You can set whatever you want from your deck to the graveyard, especially during either player's turn. Next up, we got Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. This card is very good. You make it with a level 1 tuner and Goblinburg in any other level 4. Really, really good card. Then we got 1 Crystal Wing, kind of self-explanatory. Crystal Wing is so good. You Synchro climb him with any level 7 monster. It's pretty great. We got 1 Cypherame, Lord Omega. He's really good. Decent going first play if you already have your Predaplant combo set up, so he tags himself out, come back in the main zone. It also helps recycle your Jet Synchron and anything you banish for your Chaos monsters, so that's very good. We got 1 Scarlight, he helps clear boards, really good, helps burn for game, and a big beater, what's there not to like. We got 1 Black Rose Dragon. Man, it's been a while since I've shown my Ghost Rare Black Rose. It's probably my favorite rarity. Anyway, good card, board wipe, really good going first against pendulums or something. We got 1 Michael, the level 7 of the deck along with Black Rose. You can bring him back from the graveyard with your Darkness Metal, which is actually really good to continually banish stuff, especially after you Synchro Climb Michael into Crystal Wing. So you have a Crystal Wing, Red MD, and a Michael. It's an easy OTK from there. For the Link monsters, you got 1 Mrs. Raiden. You only really need 1. She can recycle herself if you really need to, but she opens up 2 zones if you open up the Invoker play with 1000 Blades. Next up, we have 1 Proxy Dragon. Pretty self-explanatory. Opens more zones with Mrs. Radiant, so that's pretty good. And we got 1 Decode Talker. He's there. If you already went through Mrs. Radiant, you can Link Climb him with Proxy, or with any 3 monsters to give you 2 free zones to help spam the board. And last deck profile, last extra deck, we got 1 Seraphinite for your Brilliant Fusion. which is pretty self-explanatory. That extra normal summon comes in clutch all the time. So yeah, that is my updated deck profile of Chaos Dragons for this format. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As I said before, please check out the duels for this deck so you can see it in action, see the plays and combos for yourself. And yeah, if you guys got any comments or suggestions on how to make this deck better, I'd love to hear it in the comment section down below. And as always, don't forget to like the video, comment the video, and subscribe to my channel, which is Screencasters, for more epic and amazing videos similar to this one.